Sisters, delighted to have your company. You are listening to Islam Radio with me, Ansar Ali, and the program is called In Conversation with Ansar Ali. We've got lots of guests here talking about some interesting topics, pertinent issues, things that have been happening over the past week in Peterborough. On top of the program, at the beginning, we're going to be paying tribute to a remarkable man who passed away on Tuesday evening. He needs no introduction. Most members of the community knew him very well, every section of our community. Former councillor, council leader, North Ward councillor Charles Swift passed away on Tuesday evening, and we were all saddened to hear of his passing. Our condolences to his family. They are in our thoughts, all the loved ones are. And we're going to be paying tribute to Charles Swift here on the program in the first part of the program. And there are a couple of people here live in the studio who knew him well and who have always found Charles extremely helpful. That's including myself as well. I've known him since 1977. So we'll share all that with you, inshallah, during the course of the program. And later on in the program, we'll be talking to a proud mum, Ansar Ali, because her daughter Isha received some excellent A-level results, and so did many other young people. And if you want to congratulate your loved ones for their A-level successes, just text us and we will give them a mention from you. Give us their name and your name, and we'll give them a mention. Our text telephone number is 07 411 191062. So that's the text messages for your congratulations for young people who have done well in A-levels. And if you want to pay your tribute to Charles Swift on the program in the first 15 minutes, and the landline number is 01733 602 133. We'll try and get you live on air as well to talk about Charles Swift and your dealings with him, because he really was a remarkable man. And then later in the program, we'll be talking to two guests who are volunteers with the Lantern Initiative, Anisa and Andalib. And Lantern Initiative is a project that helps members of the community to address the stigma of mental health. It's a big issue, not just in our Muslim communities, but in the wider society as well. And any assistance, help, support people suffering from depression and mental health and isolation is always welcomed. So Anisa and Andalib will be joining me and talking about the work of the Lantern Initiative. All that to come, but first, let me introduce my first two guests as we pay tribute to former council leader Charles Swift, OBE, Rizwan Rahmatullah. He is the current president of the Muslim Khoja Shia Islamist community. They are based on Burton Street, the Burton Street Mosque. Assalamu alaikum, Rizwan.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. Lovely to see you as well. And we also got Councillor Muhammad Jamil. He's a councillor for Central Ward. And his father, former councillor and JP Muhammad Hussain, knew him well. Muhammad Hussain was also deputy mayor, the first Asian deputy mayor in Peterborough. And Jamil has known Councillor Swift all his life. I've only known Charles since 1977, and like I said, he's been of tremendous help, and really we have all felt the loss of Charles. We have always benefited from his wise counsel. Jamil, I know from the early days, you must have some great memories of Charles Swift.
Assalamu alaikum, Ansar Sahab. I do. I remember as a child he would come and see my dad. So our family association with Charles goes back. I used to call him Uncle Charles, Uncle Charlie, or as most of us did. Back in the 60s when my dad first arrived.
They both worked for the railways.
Yeah, and Charlie was there. Took my dad in. Showed him the ropes. So my dad's only job through his whole life was on the railways, and Uncle Charlie was always there for him. Whilst there, he taught him how to do the job. I think it's safe to say that my dad was one of the first union officials from our community as well, because he encouraged him National Union of Railmen, as they were known in them days. And it's not just through that. It was, whenever my dad or the community needed help, there was only one man for the job, and he went out of his way. It was, when we were told on Tuesday night he'd passed away, it felt like we'd lost someone from the family.
Absolutely.
Because Charles looked and loved the Asian community in Peterborough, and I think that was reflected back.
He embraced diversity, didn't he? Really?
He embraced diversity at a time when it was really difficult.
Yes.
For those of us who grew up in the 60s and the 70s and remember the racism and the 80s, he was a man beyond his time. He looked beyond that. And I remember my dad talking about when the Ugandan Asians arrived, and he used to talk about clearing houses, ready for them. And if you think back how difficult it must have been for a politician at that time to say 50 houses cleared and I'm going to put these in it. And it's that kind of, that compassion that he had for everyone. It was not just, our community, the indigenous community loved him as well. So, he could walk around Northwood and he knew everyone. He knew them by name.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knew who was related to who. It was almost like there was an Asianness about him.
Charles
The way he
Swift,
greeted us.
Mr. Peterborough.
Mr. Peterborough.
The youngest mayor of the city.
They used to call him the Lion of the Left.
Yeah.
If you think for a man who came from Yorkshire,
Yeah.
and the way he embraced Peterborough, and he says to me that, the houses, the council houses they built after the Second World War, and he said they're the best thing that ever happened. The Development Corporation, Charles Swift. Queensgate, Charles Swift. You name everything up until the 2000s. Charles Swift was behind it.
I mean, Jimmy, as sad it is, he served the community impeccably for 62 years. As I said the other day on the BBC Cambridge show on Wednesday morning when I was interviewed, there'll never be another Charles Swift.
No.
He was man of the people, Mr. Peterborough, and he was a doer. He was always available, approachable, helpful. Nothing was too much trouble to him.
No.
And you don't get people like that anymore.
And the thing was that he also held a position where he would make sure things happen. As councillors, sometimes we have to rely on others to do something. He was in a position of such power that if we wanted something to happen, and I remember, we owe the Gladstone Park Community Centre to Charles Swift. I remember we blocked, as youth, we blocked Taverners Road because we were being fobbed off by the council, no youth club, no community centre. And I remember when we did, he wasn't actually the council leader, he was the opposition leader, yet he made it happen. So I'm one of these ones that actually maybe was looking into naming the Gladstone Park Community Centre after Charles Swift, because we're looking to honour him, and I think that for us would be one of the best things that we can do for him.
The Charles Swift Centre, yeah? Well, that sounds really nice, and yes. So, and how he calmed a very difficult situation. It was quite a difficult situation at that time. Then when he came onto Taverners Road, I remember it quite well as well. He managed to calm all the young people down.
Well, you imagine trying to calm down 200 hot-headed Asian youth who, at that time had blocked Borge Boulevard, Taverners Road roundabout on a Friday afternoon. Yet his reassurance managed to calm us down, and we walked away because that's the kind of respect that we had for him, and he knew not to mess with us as well. So it's just one of those things with the likes of him we'll never see again.
Absolutely.
And we owe such a debt of gratitude to that man that I don't think we can ever repay him.
Absolutely. I'm going to come back to you in a moment. Rizwan, you're part of the Khoja Shia Shnasti community. Many of those people who arrived in 1972, the first generation. You know them. I know you were on television the other day as well, as we celebrated 50 years of arrivals of the Ugandan Asians here in Peterborough. And Charles was there as well, in the film as well. And and people shared their memories as well, and I know you were on there as well. What are people saying in the Shia Shnasti community at the Burton Street Mosque, the East African Asians, now that they've heard that he left this world, he passed away on Tuesday evening?
Well, first of all, my condolences to everybody who knew Charles.
Thank you.
And to everybody, and his family, because it is a great loss for Peterborough and beyond. the impact that he had. But, from the Hussein Islamic Center point of view, when we came as refugees in 1972, imagine coming to a country where perhaps you don't know the language fully, you don't know the culture, you don't know the behaviors, the mannerisms, the food's really bland,
Yes.
A huge absolute cultural change. But this man here welcomed us with open arms. He faced adversity. We've got to make that clear.
Yeah.
He had challenges, personal challenges that he had to overcome as a result of opening up 50 houses to the Ugandan Asians. And he worked through with the council, as the council leader at the time, not just to give us those houses, but also at the same time he spoke to large organizations in Peterborough and said, I've got 50 families coming, we need 50 jobs, what can you do for us? So it's almost as if he had paved the way for us to be able to integrate into society, to feel welcomed into Peterborough, and made Peterborough our home. And so he's thought of with very much fondness. We're going to miss him. But our foundations were laid in Peterborough, and our mosque was built in Peterborough and Burton Street as a direct result of the support that Charles gave us.
Yeah.
And how can you repay that? You can't. All I can say is he's in our thoughts, he's in our prayers, and and his family 100% are in my prayers, because it must be a very difficult time for them. If it's difficult for us, I imagine how difficult it must be for them.
Yeah, I know. I went to see him about 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were going by, and I asked his family,
Yeah.
and he was sitting outside with Brenda.
Yeah,
And
always
they said,
Brenda was always there
yeah,
by his side.
always there beside
Such
you,
a
right?
rock she was
Yeah,
for
yes.
him.
And Jamil, one of his sons and janitor said, "Yeah, go in for a couple of minutes, please." He starts talking. He gets very tired, because he's quite ill. And I only went there just to say hello, just to see him. But he wanted me to stay basically for a bit longer. And Hasib was outside, and he asked me, he said, "Who else is with you?" And I said, "Oh, Muhammad Hasib is with me, my council colleague." And he said, "Oh, bring him in as well." Then 4 weeks prior to that, we were in the area, and Noreen was with me. And I went in. He was in the living room with Brenda again. I went in and said hello. And again, he said, "What about that young lady who was the candidate?" He remembered, because he actually met Noreen when she was there. And I said, "Oh, she's here. She's outside." He said, "Why don't you bring her in, you silly boy? I want to see her." And he shook her hands, and he said, "Oh, I'm so pleased that you got in." And so he really felt so pleased. And I know, you talk about, he brought your dad into public life, and how he got him involved in the trade union movement. 1977, I met him at Peter Brotherhood. He used to go to their social club and sports club quite regularly. I used to play football there, and met him. He got me involved in 1978, alhamdulillah, as a voluntary youth worker, and then I haven't looked back since. And I have often said to him when I've met him, "Charles, I hope I haven't let you down." And his response very often was, "Ansar, I'm very proud of you." I'm really pleased. It's really, and he, like I said, was a very wise counsel for many of us.
Yes.
For many of us, because if we had any problems, how to deal with a particular situation, if we relate to the council, who was the worst person we went to?
Charles.
Charles, let's go and talk to Charles. He will find a way. He'll find a way, and he very often did. He really got us some difficult situations as well.
Absolutely.
And he was really a helpful person. And we'll all miss him. And in terms of, I know your father isn't well at the moment. He's quite aged as well. But they became best of friends, didn't they?
They did, and over time, like I said, he encouraged him through the trade union movement. I think he actually signed his nomination form to become magistrate, and then councillor. If you imagine all of us who sit on council now, and you can bring that back to Charles.
Yes.
Yeah.
His encouragement, because you always need someone to take that first step, and that's where he encouraged my father to take the first step. And alhamdulillah, now we have upwards of 10, 12 councillors on from our community on city council, and it's through visionary people like him, who embraced diversity, as he said, at a time when nobody, he had to deal with the threats from the National Front, and I'm sure he probably had to deal with, the problems within his own party at the time. But he was such a forward-looking man, and he welcomed us all. And Peterborough would be completely different if it hadn't been for Charles Swift.
And I remember when I took Noreen B to him and that she was going to be our candidate, he was so pleased. He said, I really hope that she gets in. Yeah. She's got my full support. And he really was thinking ahead that it would be good for more Asian women to come forward into politics, into public life. So he was thinking beyond us, you know, he thinks that she will inspire others, basically. And
most definitely. I mean, you know, as you said, I think one of the words that was used quite often was he was a visionary. He was beyond his time, most definitely was. And I think anybody that you speak to will tell you this. And the story that you gave about inviting him to his, you know, when he inviting you to his house and he calls you in, it's typical of him. Because
that's the Asianness. I'm telling you, it's those old-fashioned values that he held on to all the way till the end.
I mean, you know, 4 years ago when I was diagnosed with cancer, you know, at home, he telephoned me, and then a couple of weeks later he came to see me at home.
Wow.
You know, so he, you know, those values that we have embraced, you know, visiting people when they're not well and they're housebound, they've just come out of hospital, you know. He was one of those people who had those values, you know, which very much linked with the Asian values.
Most definitely.
Muslim values, what we did. That he was really a man of the, he was an humanitarian.
You know, and he went round on his bike.
Yeah,
you know?
always
on his bike. And when I became deputy mayor, and he was there, and he was telling me that when he was mayor, he would go to functions on his bike. He said, I told him I don't want the car. You know, and he's fit and healthy, you know, all the way till the end. And unfortunately, you know, we all got to go, and his time was nearer, and he became ill. And I think that's really when he got bedridden. But you know, it's just so sad that we've lost, and you know, we probably, you know, like I've said that Peterborough will never be the same again. But then you've got to think that he had respect right across the political spectrum, right across the city. Yes. You know, we're here from the Muslim community. I'm sure if you bring in the Hindu community, the Sikh community, you know, Del Singh wrote so highly of him the other day, and you know, if you're reading through Facebook posts, you know, he was thought of so highly. You know, and
every
you know,
section of the
he was given freedom of the city. He was mayor. You know, everything, and it was, and you know, the shape of the city. What it is now is because of him and his vision and the people that he was able to inspire at the time. And then if you think our community, you know how many people we've got there who are millionaires, who are hardworking accountant lawyers. You know, he used to tell me about the passport forms he used to sign. You think at that time he was one of the few people who could do it. You know, and if you think, and he was telling me that someone once knocked on his door and asked for a name of a child, and he didn't. He was going to the register office. He didn't know how to spell it. But you know, that's the kind of person he was. You would, you know, you had an issue. The first person you would think of, Charles Swift.
And that door was always open.
That red door with the flowers outside.
Corbyn House. He wanted me to take a photo outside Corbyn House, but you know, so I've got that fond memories of him. But I think, you know, it is sad that we've lost a great person who did so much of our city. But I think at the same time, you know, he had a wonderful life, did so much for the city. He passed away peacefully at the 92 years of age. And I think, you know, it's a celebration of a wonderful life as well, you know.
I agree.
Aren't we blessed? Aren't we blessed to have known somebody of that caliber? Somebody who possessed those behavioral traits that touched our lives. And if anything, his memory lives on through us because we follow the path and the foundations he laid for us, and somebody that we can emulate to, inshallah, in the future, to also make a difference to the next generation, like the difference that he made.
I think one of the things someone told me was, you know, in our community when we have a death, in the 80s, the agreement that he helped set up with the coroner, Gordon Riley, he was another one who was in, you know, and you know, we've got probably the best system in the UK.
We have, I agree.
When it comes in other cities, you go there, you hear people, you know, being in fridges for days on end. Here, people like him worked with us, worked with the authorities, and it's just things like that that you think if it took people like him to sit down and say, well, actually, no, we need to sort this out because this is their problem.
Yeah.
And he would just go away.
Nothing was too much trouble to him. He said, yeah, this is a particular need. We need to make sure that members of our community, the council taxpayers, members of our city, we should do something about that. Everyone should be helped as best they could, and he did everything. Final words, Rizwan, in terms of the Ugandan Asians.
Well, as far as the community is concerned, we do feel very sad and very sorry, and we give our condolences again to the people that knew him and to his family. He left a legacy for us. It's a legacy that, he's an individual that we'll miss tremendously, but we'll look at some way of honouring him. And I think, if we could work together to see perhaps not just as a one community, but as a city, the whole community, to do something in order to commemorate, the lives that he has touched in a positive way.
Muhammad Jamil already mentioned some of the ideas that he has as well.
Yep.
And inshallah, no doubt he, along with other of his colleagues, will be sharing those ideas with his colleagues to make sure that an appropriate, we remember Charles in a most deserving manner.
100%.
Absolutely, inshallah, we will do that. Jamil, any final words from you? I know that...
Like I say, I'm actually personally devastated for his wife, Brenda.
Yeah.
She was there all the way through, always in the background, but always there. Yeah. They say behind every great man, there's a great man, and Brenda is a great woman. And, it's like we've lost someone of our own. Yes. Someone who helped us get to here. I just like to think as a community we can strive, move forward, take more of a role in everyday life just to pay tribute to a man who helped us so much to get here so we can move on and we can celebrate diversity right across the city.
And one thing I do want to touch on, it's we talked about that he used to go and visit those people not being well, came out of hospital, he visited me, and but he did that quite often in his ward as well with people. But when I look at Charles's family, they live next door to him, and he'd been ill for a little while now, and Brenda and Charles both needed basically, looking after, his children. It's like in the Asian culture, in the Muslim culture, they're there for him. It's just amazing. They looking after him and, tending to every need that Charles and Brenda have. It's just, you just don't see that. Much in these days.
I know. It heartens me to know that he passed away with his family around him and not in an old people's home.
Absolutely.
Because that would have killed the Charles that I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Knowing that. But this way, all his loved ones were there. And alhamdulillah, to have known him, we've known him. We've been blessed with the work that he's done with us. And, may God look after him.
Yeah, and we are sure that he is in a good place now because of what he did. I mean, we all as Muslims, we believe our religion teaches us to be good human beings.
Absolutely.
And Charles is an embodiment of being a good human being, I think it is a very good example for us all how to, be a counselor, how to help people. Nothing was ever too much trouble to him.
But he's the ultimate counsellor. For someone who spent 62 years getting re-elected, he must have been doing something right. And he knew his electorate, he knew his area. And then when it got to be too much for him, he quietly said, I've had my time, I'm going to walk away now. And that's the best way to go.
Again, we need to make sure as a city that the legacy of Charles Swift remains for many generations to come, because the man, Mr. Peterborough, Charles Swift, deserves nothing less. He did so much of our city. He commanded respect from every section of our diverse community in Peterborough. Quite often he was criticized, but every time he was proved right.
That's
the
right.
direction that he wanted to take this city, he was proved right. The way that he embraced diversity, how he helped the development of the mosques in Peterborough, helping the Muslim community, the gurdwaras, the temple, you name it. He was there to help every section of the community. And he wanted to see everyone getting on well. Charles said that yes, we can have difference of opinion, different views, etc., but we should respect each other. At the end of the day, shake hands and move on, basically. And brothers and sisters, that is the message of Islam. We should not hold grudges. We should pray for each other, help and assist each other. That's the way forward. So, in conclusion, in this first half an hour that we were paying a tribute to Charles Swift, who sadly passed away on Tuesday evening. Please spread peace, love and harmony. That is the message that Charles Swift promoted, and that's what we here on Islam Radio try and do and will continue to do with your support, brothers and sisters. And we're here for Charles's family. If you need anything from us as a community, we are there for you as well, because he was there for us for our time of need. Muhammad Jamil, Rizwan, thank you very much indeed for taking your time out.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
That's all from the first half. In the second half, we've got some other guests. I'm sorry they had to wait a little while. Ansar Ali, proud mum, is here with her daughter Isha, and we also got the Lantern Initiative volunteers Anisa and Andaleeb in the second half, inshallah. Stay right where you are. You are listening to Islam Radio with me, Ansar Ali. Back with you after this break.
Stay tuned to Salam Radio after this short ad break.
Peterborough Eats is your new local food ordering platform. Order through Peterborough Eats and not only save money with exclusive deals and discounts, also save your takeaway money too, with our commission being up to 50% cheaper than other well-known platforms. Each order through Peterborough Eats also helps us reinvest back into our community. Find our app on Google and Apple stores or visit peterborough-eats.co.uk. Why not order today?
Asia Restaurant gives you the unique fusion of flavours from Turkey, Iraq, Syria and Iran. Our shish kebabs are grilled on a charcoal barbecue for that authentic taste. Lamb shanks, fresh shawarma, chili kebab, lamb shish, grilled chicken, freshly made baklava and so much more. Eat in or order through Peterborough Eats or Peterborough Grab. Asia Restaurant, 5 Fitzwilliam Street, Peterborough, PE1 2RU. Call us on 01733 562 530. Great prices, great quality. Why not come and find out for yourself? Asia Restaurant, the true taste of the Middle East.
Are you looking for a career where you can make a difference? At Cross Keys Homes, we work with our local communities to create opportunities that change lives. We're looking for enthusiastic, talented people to join our team, from apprenticeships to senior management positions. Cross Keys Homes can support your development while you enjoy great employee benefits. There are so many opportunities for you to shine. Apply to join the Cross Keys Homes team at crosskeyshomes.co.uk.
HS Lawyers make it so simple. Contact Majid Sarwar or Asad Arif today for any matters relating to immigration, family, business or property. Google HS Lawyers to see why we're the highest reviewed firm in Peterborough, with over 500 testimonies on our honesty, speed and excellent communication, making your legal matter simple, easy and stress-free. Contact us today on 01733 703 978. That's 01733 703 978, or email us at peterborough@hs-lawyers.co.uk. HS Lawyers, built on values of integrity and respect, with offices in Peterborough and throughout the West Midlands.
Where can you get high quality and low prices? Amar Food Store and Halal Meat in Lincoln Road, Triangle is the place to go. Pay us a visit and take advantage of our special offers and great range of products on groceries, vegetables, fruits and halal meat. Also send money to Pakistan absolutely free. We have all top brands at special offers, offer free customer parking and provide a free local delivery service. Amar Food Store and Halal Meat, 613B Lincoln Road, Peterborough. Call us on 01733 687 374 High in quality, low in prices.
Listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salam Radio. Salam Radio. 106.2
The second
FM.
half of the program with me, Ansar Ali. It is In Conversation with Ansar Ali. We paid tribute to former council leader, man who served North Ward as a councillor for 62 years plus. Charles Swift, who passed away on Tuesday evening. Our condolences and thoughts are with his family and the loved ones. We thought it was important to pay tribute to him. So my guests for the rest of the program had to wait a little longer than I originally had planned. So apologies for that. My next guests are Anisa and Andalib. Assalamu alaikum to you both.
Wa alaikum salam.
Thank you very much. We're going to talk about this initiative, this organization that has emerged, doing some fantastic work in the community, the Lantern Initiative. Some of you may have heard of it, but if you haven't, inshallah, we'll know a lot more about the Lantern Initiative, because Anisa and Nalib are both volunteers with the Lantern Initiative. Anisa, tell us a bit about the Lantern Initiative.
So it's basically a Muslim-run charity. We've been running since 2015. We have two directors. We've got Mohsin and Safura. So they started the charity off, and mainly to tackle the stigma within the Muslim community, especially around mental health, and just spread awareness of the issues that are out there in regards to mental health. Yeah.
Okay, and Andalib, you're involved in the organization as well as a volunteer.
Yeah.
How have you found being involved in the organization?
It's very good experience, because I've recently finished studies, and I've been looking to work with some mental health organization for experience. So it has provided me with the opportunity to play my part and play my services, give my services to spread awareness about about mental health in Muslim community. So yeah, it's been
and
fantastic.
Anisa, in terms of you said that there's a stigma attached to it. How difficult are you finding in addressing that?
Well, it's a bit of a challenge, I think, to especially deep within the community. There's a lot of taboos that are still out there about mental illness. We're still we're trying to break down the physical side of health, but then try incorporating the mental health side into it as well. So it's a challenge, but inshallah we're going one step at a time to try tackle it, and especially going through certain groups, so especially towards women, especially women who haven't heard about it before as well, and even with men as well, and doing that through several different types of workshops.
And I know the several initiatives that you have run for women and men, they have proved extremely successful.
Yes, they have. Quite a few events that we've had have been sold out, or near enough to be sold out as well, and we have people coming from other cities as well to attend these events.
So in terms of the need, there is much need in the community
yes.
for what the Lantern Initiative offers. And what sort of activities do you offer?
So there's a wide range. We do events, we host events from other facilitators that come in. We've also run our own workshops as well to tackle certain stigmas. I think we're going to Iqra Academy at the moment and trying to support the young girls there and spread awareness of mental health there. We've had a weekly chai and chat at Heavenly Desserts as well, where Muslim women can come, or even just women can come and support one another. There's also been connecting Muslim mums workshops as well, so it's like bringing the women together to tackle the stigma of mental health, but at the same time offer support from a culturally sensitive and a Muslim faith background.
Because sometimes that is the apprehension, isn't it? Because of our religion and culture, sometimes people are reluctant to come forward.
Yeah, definitely they are, and there's a lot of barriers in terms of accessing mental health already as there is. So we want to break that barrier down a little bit more and say, actually, you can receive support with your mental health and incorporate the Islamic side into it as well. There's nothing wrong with it, and Islam advocates for that massively, but we're just trying to push that out there and say, actually, it's okay. We're Muslims, we're representatives of it, and we're talking about it, so there can't be anything wrong with it.
I mean, in terms of, we've had 2 years of COVID as well. You know, we hear quite a lot that as a result of that, mental health issues and depression have become quite prevalent in society generally. Is that what you find in the Muslim community as well? Because I mean, we were all equally affected.
Yeah, definitely, and I think even like the financial issues that people have been facing, there's so many other issues that are out there. They're all coming to light, but depression and anxiety being the most common mental health problems are alight even more, and more people are talking about it, but they don't know enough about it. They're not educated enough, and that's what we're here to do.
What about if there is a member of the family and they are showing signs of mental health? What would you say to their family? You know, I mean, no doubt, like many other illnesses, early intervention is the best way forward, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The early signs, if you can intervene there, provide the right sort of support, you know, you can probably address it and you know, help reduce the impact of it. You know, how do you find that? If I can ask you that, in terms of, you know, if there is a member of the family, you know, and family are struggling, you know, what do we do here?
Yeah, I would like to tell you a story, because I have experienced this in my immediate family, where one of my cousin was diagnosed with a mental health problem. But back then, like 4 or 5 years ago, in Pakistan, basically, there is not much awareness about the mental health. So in my family, even though everybody is educated, but we still struggle to, you know, understand that it's a mental health problem, because, you know, Muslims associate things with jinns and stuff. So we went to the peers and fakirs to, you know, like for the treatment. But later on, after like wasting 1 or 2 years, we got to know that it is basically schizophrenia. And by the time we recognize that and we like acknowledge that this is a mental health issue, it was already too late, because we did not have that awareness. But now we, as a volunteers, we want to, you know, spread awareness that if your children or if anyone of your family members shows any sign of mental health illness, do not take this lightly, because Muslims usually, and especially Asian families, don't pay much attention to mental health problems. They just, you know, brush everything under the carpet and say, oh, he's like this and he's facing this problem and blah blah, but they don't pay real attention to it. So I would like to ask everyone that if anyone of your family members show any signs, please take this serious and please come forward to ask for help, because it's not a taboo anymore. It should not be treated as a taboo. So you should just come forward and ask for help.
That is a really fantastic. That's brilliant. You know what you've just said. It really resonates with a lot of people. You know, we've all probably know someone, you know, where there is a member of the family and they just get ignored, don't they? Sometimes you know, they just don't get the support. So, brothers and sisters, you know, if we are afflicted with mental health or have a member of the family, please do seek help. The sooner the better. And if people want to get involved in the activities of the Lantern Initiative, come and attend the workshops, have a word with you as volunteers. How do they go and find out if they want your support?
So we have social media. So on we've got Facebook, Instagram. I need to clarify in terms of Twitter, but we do have all of the social media running, and you can contact. Yeah, there's so many platforms. There's lots of education being put forward and put out on there, and especially on Instagram as well. Lots of posts, even just educating about mental health. So if you do need support, then you should definitely contact us. And we're also with the support of other organisations as well. We're currently running free counselling for individuals, especially Muslims. There's funding that has come in, and we want to push that out back to our community.
And that's very important, because if you want to talk to someone, counselling is not about telling you what to do. It's just sharing with someone what you're going through, what his life is like. And sometimes, you know, as they say, the old cliche, a problem shared is a problem halved, basically. So if you've got some baggage, luggage in your head, basically, you know, and you can't find it, this is all in confidence.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to say as well, one thing coming from what Andalib said is that we push physical health. When we have our physical health, we go and get medication, we go to the doctors and we speak about it. But just as we see physical health issues, we should see mental health issues as important, and even sometimes more important, because it does have an impact on your physical health as well. So you should just reach out for support. There should be no shame in it, because everyone has difficulties at some point in their life.
So you're becoming more and more popular, the Lantern Initiative as a project.
Yeah.
And if people Google the Lantern Initiative, then some of this stuff would come up.
Yeah,
basically.
definitely.
You will find everything on our website.
Okay. So please, can I thank you? Is there anything else you want to add that I haven't asked you, haven't touched upon? I don't want you to leave here to find that, we should have mentioned this, basically. I think we've given it a good bit of discussion. And the Lantern Initiative is the organization, brothers and sisters. So if you are experiencing, or member of your family or someone you know, you feel that they could do with some support, as we've heard, early intervention is much better. So please do seek support. And the best organization that understands the religious aspects, the cultural aspects, is the Lantern Initiatives, a fantastic organization. Please do approach them. And as you heard from both Anisa and Andalib, your conversations are totally confidential, basically. So you can go and speak to them and seek support in confidence, and you can go and talk to them and have a contract written, how you want to progress things, basically.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for giving us the opportunity to talk about Lantern Initiative.
No, thank you. You're always welcome. If there's anything that you're doing, please don't hesitate to come to us and tell us. We'll promote your events and things like that, because we want to do things to help our community, okay? To address some of the pertinent issues, and we want to break down the taboos that we have within our communities as well. That shouldn't happen. Everyone should be supported and treated well, inshallah. So thank you very much, both of you, Anisa and Andreeb, for your time here on Salam Radio.
Thank you.
لا شريك له مالك لا شريك له وحده لا إله إلا शम्स तबरेज गर खुदा तलबम खुशबू खालाएगा इल्लाहू तेरे ही नाम से तेरे ही नाम से हर इब्तिदा है तेरे ही नाम तक हर इंतहा है तेरी हमदो सना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह कि तू मेरे मोहम्मद का खुदा है अल्लाह Allah, 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 Allah. Allah ये ज़मीं जब न थी ये जहां जब न था ये ज़मीं जब न थी ये जहां जब न था चांद सूरज न थे आसमां जब न था चांद सूरज न थे आसमां जब न था राज़े हक भी किसी पर आया जब न था राज़े हक भी किसी पर आया जब न था तब न था कुछ यहाँ तब न था कुछ यहाँ था मगर तू ही तू अल्लाह 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 अल्लाह
Allahu, the voice of Ustad Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan. Assalamu alaikum to you. If you just joined us, you are listening to Islam Radio with me, Ansar Ali, with you every Friday from 7 till 8, and it always is a pleasure. Always a busy program. In the first half, we paid tribute to the late Charles Swift with our guests Rizwan Rahmatullah and Councillor Muhammad Jamil, and we had a good conversation about his contribution to our communities, the support that he's given, and our thoughts are with the family of Charles Swift, who served as a councillor for 62 years. Also, just before we heard that Qawwali, we had the Lantern Initiative, Anisa and Andalib, talking about support available for people suffering from mental health, depression and anxiety. So do get in touch with the Lantern Initiative if you need any support, please. And now we are in a celebratory mood as well, because we've got a very proud mom here in the studio. First and foremost, congratulations to all the young people who did ever so well in their A-level exams. And one person that I can say to directly and in person is Isha. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Assalamu alaikum, both of you. Okay. Thank you for taking the time, both of you. Asma, you know, I spoke to you the other day and you said how proud you were as a mother, how well your daughter has done. Share with us your pride here on Islam Radio.
Well, you know, the fact that Isha has even went to did her A-levels, the fact that she's put her head down and she just studied so hard. And when I heard, the first thing when I heard that Oxford University had even accepted her,
Alhamdulillah.
You know, that was, there's no words to describe how proud that made me. I was literally, I was crying. It was tears of joy.
Tears of joy,
because,
yes.
you know, you always want the best for your child. You always want their dreams to come true, and for a mother, for their children or any parent, you know, for their child to be healthy, successful, and happy. And that is just, even hearing the fact that they accepted her was a big moment for me. And then when she had her exams, you know, we were very stressed out, obviously. And I was thinking, I always kept it quite calm, even though inside I was so stressed. I was thinking, I was praying for her. I was saying to people, please pray for Isha, pray for everyone who are going to be getting their results. And on the day of her results, you know,
over the moon.
Over the moon.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, I was so proud. I was so happy. You know, there's no words that could describe how proud I am of Isha. She has worked extremely, extremely hard. It is all down to her hard work. You know, of course, as a parent, you support your children.
Absolutely.
But she put the work in, she put the effort in, and she has a vision in life. And she is following that vision. She's got a dream, and inshallah, hopefully, she will make that dream come a reality.
Inshallah, inshallah. So Isha, congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you.
Mum's du'as, mum's support obviously helped,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, the hard work was done by you. How hard was it, taking A levels?
Yeah, it was really difficult. I did like economics, politics, and history, so I had to have like a lot of support from my teachers and stuff. So I went to Thomas Deacon's Academy, and I was the first person like ever that had gone into Oxford or even got an offer from Oxford University. So like they knew I really wanted to go and stuff. So they did help me with like doing loads of extra work just to make sure I got the grades I needed to get in.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there must have been a lot of pressure on you as well, because you had your heart set on going to Oxford, and then after the exams waiting for the results and things like that. But I just want to take you back as well. When did you get that inspiration that the three subjects that you just talked about, quite difficult, quite demanding, so didn't you feel at any point that, oh my God, I'm going to have to put in a lot of work to achieve my ambition?
Yeah, so I've just finished year 13 now, but when I was in year 12, when I got my mock results and I did quite well in them, then that's when I realised that maybe I can go, because if I did well in year 12 and if I keep up the hard work throughout year 13, I might be able to get the grades that I needed to get in. So from then, and like when I was speaking to my teachers, they all really encouraged me to apply. Like they helped me with my personal statement that I had to send to the universities, and with like helping me prepare for my interviews. So with all of that, I was really confident with applying, and when I got the offer, I was really happy. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. And in terms of hard work, when people are doing A levels, what would you say to young people who are embarking on what you've just completed, basically doing their GCSEs, they get their results in a week's time, and their A levels as well? Those people are 12, 13, 14-year-olds. As a granddad, I'm asking you, what sort of things, what should we, or as parents, grandparents, as guardians, should be looking out for in terms of if we want our children to do well?
I think the advice that I would give, like what I've told like my friends in year 12, or like even to my brother, I've said that you have to try as hard as you can from the beginning. So like from the beginning of year 12, from the beginning of your A levels or from your GCSEs, just try putting as much effort from the beginning, because you will see results depending on how much effort you put in with your revision and just the work you do in school.
Sometimes you come across young people who teachers say they're quite bright, but they only do enough to get by. They just don't put that extra effort in. What would you say to those young people?
I would say that you can see the outcome of the amount of effort you put in. And I know as well, like for my exams that I took in May and June, I started revising for them in January. Like I sacrificed like a lot of time and just like spending time with my friends and things like that to revise instead. So when you put in extra effort, even if you are already bright or like naturally smart, if you put in extra effort, you will see better results, and you'll just be more happy with it.
Okay, so I'm glad that you mentioned that. Is your daughter Isha naturally gifted, academically gifted?
I think she is, because she doesn't take after me.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure she is. Yeah, she is. Isha, when we were at primary school, she attended Footbridge Academy, which I'm sure you know, because you know Ben Erskine.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And Isha, at the end of the year, Isha had got a head girl award. So at the end of the year 6, when they leave, they choose a head boy and a head girl, and Isha was presented with a head girl award, and that's quite big at primary school. And she got good grades in her SATs. So I think it's like she said, she's always put in the time. Isha has always put in the effort, and Isha has a vision in life. She has a dream, and I believe that Isha will. Inshallah, she will definitely. Make her dream come reality.
Inshallah. Our du'as are with you as well. But what do you want to be when you finish your degree, your studies, etc.?
So in October, I'm going to Oxford and I'm studying law. So I want to, inshallah, be a solicitor or barrister. I'm not sure yet exactly what, but I definitely want to do law when I'm older.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And in terms of Oxford, you've already been there?
Yeah, we went in the summer, like at the beginning of the summer holidays. Me and my mum went to the open day there, and like I saw everything, like the accommodation and where I'm going to be staying and everything like that. So, yeah.
And how did you find that? Because obviously when people just think about Oxford and Cambridge, basically, they have that reputation, don't they, worldwide?
Yeah, so
when you went there, Asma, were you a bit overawed about it?
Yes, I was extremely excited. I just couldn't wait. I was like, my first time ever going to Oxford, and seeing how it is, the setup, the way they've got the classroom studying, and it was.
You were well received, both of you.
Yes,
I'm running
100%.
short of time as well.
Yeah, yeah, we were very well received. They were very nice people there, and we had a brilliant time.
Isha, we're proud of you. We wish you every success. Inshallah, I hope that you will be an inspiration for our future generations as well. Inshallah, we like to see you do well, and our other young people from our communities doing well as well. Inshallah, serving our communities to the best of their abilities. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you
and
very
sorry
much
for the long wait.
It's okay, no problem. Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, and yeah, that's just about it from me for this week. It's been a busy program. My thanks to Bauti Shah and Asma, proud mum and daughter. Well done to them. Anisa on the leave from the Lantern Initiative, Rizwan Rahmatullah and Councillor Muhammad Jamil, and of course Asim Mahmood for his help as well. And thank you very much for